In standard YouTuber cliche fashion, this isn't a video I wanted to make, and I actually don't even know how to really begin it. I just have this whirlwind of emotions stirring inside of me like a tornado of pain and agony. 2 days ago, the new Hunger Games trailer dropped, and disappointed fans across the world all noticed something and cried out in unison, "Where is the most important character in the Hunger Games franchise, District 8 hospital helper, as portrayed by Charles in Mockingjay Part 1. I saw a lot of people huffing copium, thinking like maybe they were trying to save this for, trailer number 2 as a grand reveal that District 8 hospital helper is back, because he needs to be. Without District 8 hospital helper, the story just doesn't really work. My character was the glue that held the entire narrative together, so how the fuck could this franchise even continue if I'm absent from it? But I'm just going to rip the band-aid off and give you the hard-to-swallow pill, a little suppository, but for your brain. I am not in this new Hunger Games movie. I never got contacted to reprise my iconic role. Most of you found me because of my acting expertise, my breakout role as District 8 hospital helper in Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. It's a performance that is truly timeless and still extensively studied at colleges across the country. I did something that's never been done before. I fully assimilated into this role. I became that character. For a brief magical moment on screen, Charles White ceased to exist, and all that was left was District 8 hospital helper. There's a fine line between reality and madness, and I fucking tap danced on it. I went where no mortal had gone before. I acted like no one had ever acted prior. Of course, I was snubbed at the Oscars. The bulk of my work was cut from the final product due to Hollywood corruption, and trust me, when it comes to corruption in Hollywood, the cup truly runneth over. There is no end to the disgusting filth and foul play behind the scenes of that industry. But I bore it. I was able to grit my teeth and accept, you know what? Maybe I did too well. And this was my divine punishment for that. My only sin was being too good at acting. So I let sleeping dogs lie. And, as most of you know, 7 months ago, it turns out I was also not cast as Percy Jackson in the Disney Percy Jackson series. A role for which I also auditioned for and I thought I crushed. The only problem was, the casting call was for a 12-year-old boy and I'm a 28-year-old man, so I think what must have happened is they decided to play it a little safer and choose a legitimate child to play the role. I can't hold any hard feelings against them for that, though I do think I would have made a better Percy Jackson, even though I'm sure the actor currently playing him is going to do fine. It's just hard to overlook the possibility of how great this show could have been with me spearheading all of it. You know, it's called acting for a reason. I don't have to actually be 12 to play a 12-year-old, right? And in fact, 16 years ago, I was 12. Like, legitimately 12. So you can't even get better method acting than that. I was that age. So it's just, I feel like it was a bit of a missed opportunity. I'm sure the show will still be fine. But I mean, come on. I could have been an incredible Percy Jackson. I shave, I cut my hair, and we use some fucking Robert De Niro de-aging technology, and bang, a little magic here, a little hocus pocus there, and you now have the best goddamn actor the world's ever seen in a leading role once again, the way it should be. But I'm getting sidetracked. Let's stay on the path. Hunger Games is coming out, and I'm not in it. Now, there's a lot of people that are trying hard to try and come up with film theories as to how this would even make sense without District 8 hospital helper. If you watch the films, you'll know that, unfortunately, I died in those movies. District 8 hospital that I was helping at was blown to pieces. But I always thought that led to greater opportunity. They could have brought me back in Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 like Darth Vader. Could have fucking strung me up and like had all kinds of technology going and some kind of, mask that's allowing me to survive. Maybe they put in my brain in a tube, some kind of like Zordon shit, perhaps out of Power Rangers. There were plenty of narrative ways of playing with that and continuing the story in a good direction instead of the fucking flat wet fart they finished it with that awful finale and conclusion. It could have been stronger if they had just brought my character back, but they decided not to. Missed opportunity. But this movie is a prequel. This movie is set a long time before the events of Hunger Games, Mockingjay, and all of those. So this could have been another opportunity where perhaps District 8 Hospital Helper is an immortal vampire. So I could still be alive during this film's setting. I could still be a District 8 Hospital Helper, and maybe in an even bigger capacity. Perhaps I was instrumental in the games. Like, there were so many ways of playing with this that could have made sense from a story perspective, but they decided to just play a very formulaic, boring fucking approach to this film instead of taking a chance on what made them special in the first place, which was me. I carried this franchise like Atlas carried the world on his back. I did so much fucking heavy lifting for Hunger Games only to get nothing in return. The disrespect to not even contact me about coming back, and without even having a nod to my character in the trailer, like, at least have like a fucking tombstone, like, here lies District 8 Hospital, well, I wouldn't be dead at this time. At least have like a fucking statue made of me. Here is District 8 Hospital Helper, the glue of Panem. Like, there's so many ways of at least appreciating the work that I put into this franchise. The blood, sweat, tears, elbow grease, like, the countless nights, sleepless nights, studying the script in order to deliver a performance that would stand the test of time, and I get nothing. I get nothing in this trailer. It makes me sick. I spit on that. And don't even give me this mumbo-jumbo about them not being able to afford me. For the Hunger Games, I would have fucking moved mountains. When people think of music, they think of Mozart. When people think of basketball, they think of Michael Jordan. And when people think of Hunger Games, they think of Charles White, District 8 Hospital Helper. I don't want to get too hung up on this. I'm getting very passionate. So for one last time, I will bless you all with my iconic moment from the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. The only remnants of, the only trace of my character left in the final cut of that film. So I hope you're ready to cry. That was the arm that changed cinema forever. Now, I do want to move on to another quick topic, and it's all falling in line with the general subject here. It was recently announced that there's going to be a Twilight television series. The timing couldn't be better, honestly. I just finished watching all of the Twilight movies for the first time ever, and then literally days later they announced a TV series. It's almost like they've been tuning into my Twitch streams or like watching the videos I've made about Twilight, and they're like, huh, maybe we should dust off this property for one last rodeo. Like, the timing is just amazing. And I swear to God, if I don't get a role in that series, then there is no saving this fucking industry. I was born to play an important role in that television series. I could even play the main role, honestly. Like, you know, Edward, I think Robert Pattinson is a great actor, but he didn't do anything that special in this series. I could do what he did and do it better. Like, for example, when he first meets Bella in the biology classroom, he gets like very uncomfortable, like very irpy, about to puke and everything because she's stinky. I could easily do that. Oh, Bella, you're so stinky. You see, it's easy. It's easy. That's light work for me. After what I've done for the Hunger Games, as well as my audition for Percy Jackson, this is a role that's a walk in the park. But I would still give it 110% like I'm known for in acting. So I'm more than willing to negotiate contract terms or whatever for you know, having a meaningful part in this series. I really think I could breathe new life into it. You know, Twilight got a bad rep for how awful the acting was. Let's change that. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to update you all on yet another role that I didn't get, which was the new Hunger Games movie. But, you know, maybe there is a light at the end of the tunnel here, and it leads to a bigger role in the Twilight series. You know, there's really no telling, so we'll keep our fingers crossed there. That's about it. So yeah. For a while, I've talked about something that I feel a lot of people overlook, and it's the importance of stuntmen. Their work is some of the most important in all of movies in general, and I always have such a deep appreciation for the art, especially growing up on things like Jackie Chan movies. I've always paid very close attention to stunt work. And today I saw a video on Twitter that really just inspired me, tickled my Elmo, and made me want to just talk about this because this stunt guy is a goddamn hero, and he may very well be immortal.
3, 2, 1, action!
When I first watched this, I thought they just tossed a doll down the stairs like a dummy in order to make it look like someone got thrown down the stairs. Until the very end, I realized, holy shit, that's a living, breathing human being there that just got thrown down the escalator. The dude got fucking potato sacked, thrown out like a trash bag, a slinky going down the escalator here. So then I watched it back and I was like, okay, maybe he's in like some kind of full body suit of medieval armor to help with the impact here. Kind of like that guy who built the anti-grizzly bear suit, and he used to like get hit by trucks and shit to prove how strong it was. But then I realized he's not doing that either. He does have some kind of like padding on himself, but it's kind of light. He looks like one of Shredder's ninjas from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So while there is padding there, it's not like he's in some kind of juggernaut bomb defusal squad uniform here. It's pretty light. And it seems to be a real escalator. I don't know what you can really do to modify an escalator to make falling like that hurt less. Even if each one of those steps was a memory foam pillow, it would still hurt quite a bit because that's a long fall, and he does a few tumbles there. He like lands on the back of his neck on like that second one there. So, you know, it seems like a pretty risky stunt, but I have no doubt this guy probably did this with a fucking smile on his face because stuntmen are actual warriors. They're fucking champions out there. I also wonder how many takes they've done of this. Like, this is probably like take number 12. It's like, hey, the first 11 were okay, but you weren't flailing around enough, and we really want like almost a neck-breaking action when you're falling, so we're gonna do this again until we can get that effect. You know, like, they probably did this multiple times of him just getting fucking tomato canned down this escalator. It honestly kind of reminds me of that iCarly scene where Gibby falls from, like, the roof onto just bare concrete. We had Noah Monk on the podcast who played Gibby in that show, and he said that that was done for real. A stuntman actually just fucking, like, belly flopped onto concrete and broke, like, all of his ribs. So when you see that impact of Gibby bouncing off the cement, that's a real person that happened to, and his ribs paid the ultimate fucking price for it. And I have no doubt this is probably just as real, but somehow this guy seems like, okay. Gibby had to be taken off on a stretcher after that. The stuntman, he had to be, like, goddamn taken out there, like, nearly had to call in the chopper rescue unit to airlift him out. Meanwhile, this guy probably just walked it off. Rubbed some dirt in it. Like, it's crazy. Stuntmen are actually super, super impressive. And I really hope they're being paid well for John Wick 4 here. This got me even more excited for John Wick than I already was seeing a stunt like this. They didn't take some kind of easy way out with like CGI or using some kind of like animatronic or doll or something. They actually just had an absolute madman do this stunt for real. And that is super fucking cool. Anyway, this wasn't the only thing I saw on Twitter that was inspirational. I saw something that was honestly a tear-jerking moment that I kind of just want to share with all of you. This is like a little bonus that I'd like to dive into. Recently, Hasbulla has been on this absolute blow-up. He's really popping off. Most people know who that is by now. He's got a very strong social media presence, and people love him. And from everything I've seen, Hasbulla seems like a really nice, likable guy. And he recently went on Mike Tyson's podcast, Mike Tyson's show, and things got real interesting real quick. Like, even just the way he's talking to him. Oh, Jesus Christ. He, like, blows a raspberry on him. Like, he had no idea that was a man. Honestly, it's just kind of like a wholesome thing. Like, I don't think Hasbulla was offended or anything. I don't think Mike Tyson was upset that he snuggled Hasbulla. Like, I think it's just not a big deal. It's just something silly and fun. Now, to be fair, Mike Tyson could do this same thing to me. He'd be like, hey, Charles, throw some punches at me real quick. We'll toy around a little bit. I'd be like, all right, you got it, Mr. Tyson. So I'm throwing these wet noodles at him, and then he just picks me up and starts cradling me and rocking me back and forth until I start to get drowsy, and maybe he starts, like, biting at my ear a little bit. Unsurprisingly, there were some people on Twitter that were very upset about this, and, I mean, that's par for the course. You could post the cutest picture of your dog ever and you'll somehow outrage 1,000 people on Twitter. That's not surprising. But I do want to at least mention that I feel like in this case, this was just one of those moments where Mike Tyson made a bit of a blunder here, a boo-boo. It just feels like a truly victimless, harmless, wacky moment. Mike Tyson probably just wasn't too knowledgeable on who Hasbullah was before he was booked for the show. But it is just, it is super goofy that he picks him up and then starts like nuzzling him. And then he immediately starts chomping and biting at the ear of Hasbullah, which I think is like self-aware from Mike Tyson here. I don't think that he's just naturally drawn to like biting people's ears off or anything like that. I think that was just supposed to be like a joke, and who knows, this might have even been like a scripted, planned thing, and I've fallen hook, line, and sinker for the bait. Regardless, though, I think it is still just kind of a goofy, fun moment, I suppose, that I thought was worth at least mentioning. That's really about it, so yeah. It's inevitable that all memes will eventually die. No matter how great they are, they will eventually be retired and achieve dank status. God rest their soul. And we've recently just seen it happen to the beloved Morbius meme. You see, memes don't normally just die of natural causes or old age. The majority of the time, they're murdered in cold blood. And in this case, the meme was publicly executed by the very person that the meme is about, Jared Leto.
What are you reading?
Nothing really, just,
And now the meme is dead, and the cause of death is posting cringe. So, it's pretty safe to say that the Morbius meme has run its course, and this was really the nail in the coffin. Jared Leto letting people know that he's in on it now. He gets it. You know, it's Morbin time to Morb. He makes this short little TikTok here about the script for Morbius 2, and he very clearly has seen the meme and is trying to embrace it. And that's cute and wholesome to a certain level in most cases, but in a case like this, it just outright ruins it. It just kills the meme. It lets people know that it's time to move on. I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan, as I'm sure most of you know, because of like the cult shit and also the weird shit he's done behind the scenes on his productions. I also think the movies he's in are just like absolute stinkers, but regardless, there's no harm in people embracing the meme culture, I suppose, but every single time they have to understand that it's going to result in the death of the meme. But interestingly enough, that's not where this story ends. The fairy tale of Dr. Michael Morbius is a gift that just keeps on giving. There was still one Morb left up their sleeve, one more surprise for everyone. Sony announced that it would be re-releasing Morbius into 1,000 theaters as a way of trying to capitalize off the meme and the hype around the film, hoping that it could potentially have like the room effect where people go because they know it's bad and they want to laugh at it and share the experience with other people that are there to laugh at it. Just hoping that they could make a couple extra bucks off of Morbius, get a little more juice for the squeeze, because the movie didn't do very well. It flopped first time around, and it looks like they were kind of out for blood, and the internet convinced them that it was popular enough that, you know, everyone laughing at it might make them some money. So they rolled the dice and got fucked. It was another embarrassing flop again, making in total 85 grand and only $82 per theater they showed it in. It was another colossal failure. In fact, I believe it's the first movie to flop twice in the same like theatrical run. It's crazy. Like that is a Morbius miracle. This is just another one of those classic cases where studio execs think internet memes equal actual popularity in the real world. There is still a massive disconnect between internet attention and real world attention. It's still not one-to-one yet, and they just can't grasp that concept. So they really thought this would be a slam dunk, and they just made themselves look fucking stupid all over again. It's amazing. It's amazing. It seems they lack the most basic understanding of why this meme started in the first place, because the movie is a joke, and the punchline is that nobody went to see it, nobody wanted to see it, nobody cared. This was the most predictable outcome imaginable. The entire thing was based around how little interest people had in it, thus all the memes spawned pretending like it was something everybody watched, highest grossing film of all time and all of that shit. I can't believe they couldn't understand like the most basic part of why this movie became a meme. And I hope they spent so much money introducing this back into 1,000 theaters. Oh my god, that would be so poetic. They would lose even more money on the movie while desperately trying to capitalize off the glimmer of hope they thought they had with the memes, only to be slapped yet again in the box office. It's fucking beautiful, the incompetence. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I think the meme is truly dead now. I think it is the end of all of the Morbius stuff. But what a way of going out. This is the most heroic and like the best possible death a meme can have. Like this. Going out with a bang. Where a massive company loses money again just trying to make a little something out of a meme. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah, that's about it. See ya. I didn't want to have to make this video. I'm starting this just like a YouTuber apology, but it really is that serious. Last month, as I'm sure all of you know, I auditioned for the lead role in the new Percy Jackson TV series on Disney+. I poured my heart and soul into the audition tape. I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. It's really a masterclass in acting. I'm sure it'll be taught at most universities across the globe now. I think I speak for all of us when I say I would have been the perfect Percy Jackson. Some would argue I was born to play that role. Yes, I'm 26 years old and the character's supposed to be 12, but the beauty of my acting is that I'm classically trained and I'm willing to commit very hard to the character. I would have fucking Billy Madisoned it and gone back to 4th grade or whatever grade you're in as a 12-year-old just to relive the experiences in order to make sure I was in the proper mindset to play a 12-year-old. I would have shaved my beard. Like, I was really ready to go in for this character. And I thought I was a shoo-in. I'm sure most of you watching thought I was a shoo-in to get the role. But unfortunately today I've received news that I actually will not be playing Percy Jackson in the upcoming TV series. It seems like the cowards at Disney decided to use a real 12-year-old actor to portray the character. They were too afraid to take a chance with me. Nothing against the 12-year-old they did select, but that's bullshit and he should feel ashamed that he stole that role from me. I think what Disney's done here is truly deplorable. They wanted to play it a bit safer by having an actual child play a kid in the TV series, but why not have me play the kid? I have the proper height. I have the experience. 14 years ago, I spent an entire year living as a real 12-year-old. I have actually been through that shit. I could absolutely summon that power if need be. Watch this. Right now I'm speaking to you as 26-year-old Charlie. I'm gonna bring out the 12-year-old Charlie. Hey dudes, you seen the TikToks? Need I say more? Like, it's baffling to me that they would just go over my audition tape without even so much as like an acknowledgement of this is the best we've ever seen, but we're probably going to go with a kid just to be safe, you know, for the investors and the shareholders, you know, at least then I would have understood. They know I'm the best actor, but in order to just appease the suits, they have to go with something a little more streamlined. Okay, fair enough. But they didn't even give me that courtesy. This TV series had a chance to be great with me at the helm leading it to the promised land. This could have been up there in the conversations with the best TV shows ever made if I was Percy Jackson. It'd be in the same conversation with like Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, Courage the Cowardly Dog. It could have been there, but now it won't be. Because it can't be. If I'm not there, this show is doomed for failure. You know what, let me show you what this could have looked like. One guy made a trailer with me as Percy Jackson just to get like the hype generating, you know, kind of like concept art. So this comes from a YouTuber here who made this, and it looks great. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. And until a few months ago, I was just a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled youth in upstate New York. Am I a troubled youth? Yeah. You could say that. Fuck yeah. How old was I when you left? Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you suspect you might be a half-blood, then this book isn't for you. If you're a normal kid reading this thinking that it's just fiction, I envy your ability to believe that. If you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. It's not too late. You might be one of us. And once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too. Crikey, it's the mechanical bull! Ah! Yeah! Whoa! Probably the best trailer that's ever been made, and it's for something that doesn't even fucking exist now, because it can't. Because Disney's too fucking afraid of masterpieces. It's so upsetting. It really could have been an incredible show if they had just believed in me. I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell you this and hit you with the cold water. I know a lot of you are really excited about this, and honestly I was as well, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'll go ahead and let 12-year-old Charlie come out here and say a few words as well. Why'd you do this, Disney? Why don't you love me? It's alright. It's one of those things. We'll get another big role, I'm sure. So, yeah, just wanted to update you here. So don't expect me to be playing Percy Jackson in the TV series coming up, because I won't be. That's about it. See ya. The other day, Tiana came across an open casting call for the lead role in Disney Plus's upcoming Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson is a series that's near and dear to absolutely nothing in my life. I've never read the books, I don't know shit about it, but I'm one of the finest actors of the modern age, and I felt like this casting call was made for me. Disney, you could have just reached out and asked me to play Percy Jackson. It would have been far easier than making this facade here. But I'll share with you the casting call here. They're looking for a 12-year-old to play Percy Jackson. And while I don't think I can pull a fast one on them and lie about my age, I do have the height of a 12-year-old, and I'm willing to shave my beard to give the appearance of one as well. I'm 26 years old, but I think I could portray 12 with the right makeup and the right team around me. So I did an audition tape, I played their game, I submitted my reel, and I'd like to just share it with all of you so you could see what the lead actor is going to look like for this upcoming TV series. Charles White is probably going to land the role, so if you were thinking of trying to audition, I'd say don't bother, because I've got this shit on lockdown. This will undoubtedly be the finest acting reel you'll ever see, and perhaps it will inspire some of you to improve your acting game to reach this level of mastery. Hashtag Charlie for Percy Jackson.
Whenever you're ready, Charlie.
Alright. I have to get into character.
It's fine, take a moment.
Look, I didn't want to be... Right. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you suspect you might be a half-blood, then this book isn't for you. Just go ahead and close it and believe whatever lies your mom and dad told you about your birth. It's easier that way. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. Line.
If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on.
Alright, you go. Okay, calm down. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on. I envy you for being able to... Line.
Be able to believe that none of this ever happened.
To be able to believe that none of this ever happened. Line.
But if you recognize yourself in these pages,
But if you recognize yourself in these pages...
if you feel something stirring inside.
Alright.
Okay, I'm filming it.
Chelsea, get out of the way.
Yeah, I am. I'm away.
That sword. Wait,
Don't
let me
hit the
back you up.
camera. Do not hit the
I
camera.
want Percy Jackson never misses.
I'll back you up. What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get him.
Oh!
Did you get him?
I hit him.
Put me in, coach. What the fuck you got? Put me in, coach.
Oh, he's going to the camera.
No. He's still up there. He's still up there.
Oh! He's on you! I got him. I got him. I got him. Finish him.
Where?
This is your final training.
Don't cut the electrical cord, please.
Finish him.
I got him.
Attaboy. Now give me a victorious monologue.
I'm Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. I'm a half-blood. And this, my dad's Poseidon. Should I take it from the top or just pick up?
Yeah, do a full read.
Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading the... Son of a bitch. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice to you is to close the book and stop reading and just believe whatever lies your mom and dad told you about your birth. It's easier that way. Being a half-blood, it's dangerous. It's painful. You die in painful, nasty ways. Fuck. These lines are complicated. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you suspect you might be one, my advice to you is to close the book and stop reading right now. And just believe whatever lies your mom and dad told you about your birth. It's easier that way. Being a half-blood, it's nasty. It's painful. It's dangerous. You die in painful, nasty ways. Fuck. What? This... If you're a normal kid reading this thinking that it's just fiction, I envy your ability to believe that. Shit. But, if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. It's not too late. You might be one of us. And once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too and come for you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. And until a few months ago, I was a... Shit.
Until a few months ago, I was 11.
My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. And until a few months ago, I was just a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled youth in upstate New York. Am I a troubled youth? Yeah, you could say that. Fuck yeah.
Look, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'd be grateful.
I didn't do it for you. I did it for Mom.
Please, we don't have much time.
How old was I?
7 months.
Matt? There was more to that line.
Alright, reset,
No.
reset.
God damn it, Matt, I was in a zone.
I thought the water came at the wrong time. Look, I'm not expecting you to forgive me, but I'm grateful.
I didn't do it for you. I did it for Mom.
Please, we don't have much time.
How old was I when you left?
7 months.
Why didn't you ever come? Oh, shit.
I wanted to.
Fuck.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm grateful.
I didn't do it for you. I did it for Mom.
No, we don't have the water.
Yeah, I forgot the water.
Next time, we'll next
Alright,
time.
please, we don't have much time.
How old was I when you left?
7 months.
Look, I didn't need you there all the time, but I would have liked to have seen you just once. Is there more to my line?
Mm-hmm. Why didn't you ever come back?
Yeah. Why didn't you ever come back?
I wanted to, but when I was with you, I became less concerned with my responsibilities. I was becoming human.
And that's a bad thing? Wow. I became Percy Jackson
I
for a
have
minute.
fucking chills.
Blast! It's Great Poseidon's beard! It's the Hydra! Yeah! 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 How'd that go? It's that darn Hydra! Oh!
Nailed it. Nice. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Crikey, it's the mechanical bull! Ha! Yeah! Yeah! Whoa! Yeah! 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 Oh! Spider!
Oh! Nice!
Oh! Alright!
Look at that prowess with the one-hander.
I got him. I'm Percy Jackson.
You can get closer.
Limited.
Probably can step up if you need to.
Do I look good?
Mean.
There it is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just one side of your lip. Snarl. Alright, let's do quiet on the set. How's that looking?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh, there,
maybe something else. Look, a dragon! Nice work.
Are those cool?
Yeah, that was really cool. Good work. Okay, so now, okay, look right at the camera.
Photography producer.
Okay, so we need your name, your age, your weight, your height, and the city that you're in.
Okay.
Well, Percy Jackson.
Hey Disney Plus, I'm Charles White, I'm 26 years old, auditioning for the role of Percy Jackson. I can shave my beard to fit the appearance of a 12-year-old. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I have a decade of classical acting experience. I'm 123 pounds, 5'6", lean, mean acting machine. There's a war raging on right now between fans of the Mass Effect series and BioWare over BioWare's decision to remove multiple scenes showing Miranda's ass from their upcoming special edition of the Mass Effect trilogy. Now, the Mass Effect series is known for two things: having an incredible story with an incredibly shitty ending, and Miranda's meticulously sculpted cheeks. So to take away one of the core components of the game has made a lot of people very upset. And upset is an understatement. There are some people that are just genuinely outraged, melting down on Twitter, making it sound like it's ruined their entire lives, flipping over their desks, lighting churches on fire. It's chaos. 50 years from now, your grandchildren will ask you, "Pop, Pop, where were you when BioWare took away the ass?" And you'll have to look them right in their eyes, right to the windows of their soul, and tell them, "Son, I fought on the side of justice on Twitter, lobbying to bring the ass back to its former glory." And then you'll pump your fist in the air, trying to stand up to BioWare over the censorship here. To be honest, I don't know why BioWare is even called BioWare anymore. I think they just completely need to rename their company because they're not BioWare. The only person that still works at BioWare from the glory days is probably like the janitor and nobody else. It is a completely new staff and they have not really done anything very impressive over the last decade or so. So I'm not a big BioWare fan and I haven't been for a long time. And this decision to me seems incredibly trivial on their part, and the outrage also seems extremely overblown. Now, just in case you've forgotten the famous shots from Mass Effect, here's one right here. I'm sure your boners haven't forgotten, but just giving you a little something here to jog your hog memory. So it's when you're in the middle of a cutscene or talking to Miranda, sometimes the camera is just glued right to her fucking butthole. And her ass, it looks like 2 airbags for her asshole. It is just really right up in your face, and oftentimes this will happen during a serious moment, and then you totally just blank on everything that's going on dialogue-wise, and it becomes more of just like a goofy moment as opposed to a serious one, because the camera is just drawn like a magnet right up into her colon, and just puts you right up in there as if you're trying to like fish for hemorrhoids with your mouth out of her butthole. So this is the stuff that's going to be cut from the special edition, at least to my understanding. They're not like deflating her ass or like nerfing it or anything. It's just taking these scenes out. But I don't really understand why. Now, there's not a ton of scenes like this. Like, there's a few. There's a good handful, actually, from my memory. And maybe I'm exaggerating and confusing wet dreams with what was actually in the game. But I do remember quite a few like this. But what's the point in taking them out? It doesn't make a huge difference either way. It's not like it changes the Mass Effect universe or the lore is different now. Oh, all of a sudden the Reapers just go back to the void because they can't get a close-up like a microscope of Miranda's ass. Like, it doesn't make a big difference. What is the point in taking the shots out? It's just such a mundane change. It's not like the shots were obscene or disrespectful or anything like that. It just really seems like it came out of nowhere. Though, I think there are some instances where they probably needed to move the camera. For example, this shot right here. This is supposed to be where Miranda's talking about her family and getting them out of harm's way. And the camera is again just glued to her kind of hunched over a table to really showcase all 10,000 hours they put into designing the perfect ass. So yeah, if they wanted to improve the seriousness of this situation here in the lore, they'd probably want to reposition the camera, like maybe to her camel toe or something. But since it's not like that in the original trilogy, it's not like they had to change it in the special edition, because it's only like a couple of seconds. It's not like it's there for that long. And there's people like this tweet I just showed that are just really blowing it way out of proportion. Like, the game is truly ruined because now I can't stare into Miranda's asshole like I'm being hypnotized. But again, just to bring it on back home, making the change was silly in the first place. I don't know why they'd even bother changing that. If they were going to go back and change some of the trilogy, why not improve the things that were actually wrong with it as opposed to some of the goofy things like the ass shots? If they wanted to, you know, not only upgrade it, but also make it better, why not address some of the core problems with the trilogy? It seems like targeting the ass shots was a really weird one to put in the crosshairs. So I think the change was dumb, but I also think the people that are acting like their world just came crashing down around them because they can't look at Miranda's ass as much is also dumb. You can be disappointed with the change, I know I am, because I don't see the point in making such a trivial change. I say keep the trilogy intact the way it was and just upgrade it like I thought they were going to. You can absolutely be disappointed by it, but the game, the trilogy, it isn't ruined by moving the camera angle on some of the scenes. That doesn't completely destroy everything that Mass Effect once was. That was done by Mass Effect 3's ending. That did a beautiful job of completely ruining the trilogy in and of its own merit. So the ass changes are trivial. They truly are. It's a really shit decision from a fucking terrible company, but it also doesn't absolutely decimate the trilogy. And I don't know why people are pretending like it does. And of course I see a lot of people talking about censorship, and in this case I totally agree. This is BioWare censoring themselves. They made a game back in the day, and now they don't like certain elements of it, so they have censored it for a modern release. And I don't agree with that. As I've always said, I hate censorship in all of its forms, and as I've said multiple times now, I think the change is entirely unnecessary. Though I disagree that it's a slippery slope since BioWare has nothing these days. It's not like they're going to be censoring anything else because this is the last franchise they ever made that was good. I read a lot of people talking about how slippery of a slope it is. They've started with taking away our ass. What will BioWare take away next? And the answer is nothing, because they have nothing else. This is literally the last set of games they made that was good. They haven't made something enjoyable in the last decade or so. So after this, it's pretty much all they've got in the hole here. At least it's not a genuine game changer. The core games are still intact from everything I've read. It's just these very questionable, trivial changes they made to censor themselves because they didn't like what they did back then or something. So it's disappointing to see them do that, but at least the games aren't completely changed now. So again, I am upset about it. I don't like that they did it, but I also don't understand why people are making it sound like everything is completely fucking ruined now, because the games don't have as much ass shots in them. I think that's very silly and pathetic to have that perspective, but being disappointed, I totally understand because I'm right there with you. But yeah, anyway, that about wraps it up. Rest in peace to Miranda's dump truck. At least that appears to be the only change they made, so at least the games will still be pretty much what I remembered them to be, and I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. Even despite the fucking atrocious ending of Mass Effect 3, I still can't help but love the trilogy, even though that did take a massive shit on, like, the overall enjoyment of the narrative as a whole. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. See ya. Many of you know me for my standout role in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, where I was the glue that held that plot together. I was basically the foundation for all Hunger Games, many would argue. I of course played the iconic character, unnamed, uncredited doctor's assistant in District 8 Hospital shortly before the hospital was blown up, with a noble sacrifice the likes of which the cinema hasn't seen since, an emotional journey with my character that some viewers are still losing sleep over. My character was the focal point of the Hunger Games conflict, but unfortunately, as Uncle Ben would say, with great power comes great responsibility. Having stolen the show and the spotlight of the Hunger Games from Jennifer Lawrence, this led to me being thrown in the cum dumpster of Hollywood. I have unfortunately not landed another big blockbuster action role or anything since, though I do believe it's on its way in due time. I'm still waiting for the day Stan Lee gets revived with some necromancy and he summons me to the set of one of the Marvel movies for a leading role. However, in the meantime, until that day comes, I have landed a role in an incredible production that I'm sure we're all familiar with, Killer Bean. Many of you know Killer Bean is coming back as an episodic adventure, and the first episode just dropped, where I play a character named Kessler. Kessler's a major character, some would argue even more powerful than Killer Bean himself, and god damn it, I breathe life into that character. I put my whole asshole on the line for this one, on full display. I give you all kinds of emotions, a wide array of emotions. You can really feel the range of my voice acting abilities in just a single episode. It'll have you crying, it'll have you thinking. It is a performance for the ages, a masterclass in voice acting, I'd argue. I'll play you a short clip. Ravage, my children, ravage!
Where are you, Kessler?
You're too late, Killer Bean. I'm in my bathroom bunker now. It's got a 4-inch thick solid steel door surrounded by 8-inch thick concrete walls. No explosive can get through this. And guess what? I'm not coming out for a long time. You wanna know why? Because I have a 6-month supply of food and water, a secure power line that is impossible to disconnect, and a 4K TV loaded up with every streaming app you can imagine. Oh, and a working toilet. So I'm never coming out, Killer Bean, and you're never getting in here. Now, I don't want to play too much here because I don't want to spoil anything about my character, because he's got a lot of depth. He's like the Joker from the Batman franchise. Now, as many of you know, I fucking love Killer Bean, so I was extremely excited to be a part of this, and I just kind of wanted to talk about this for a minute or two, especially considering for some reason I'm getting emails about this telling me of things I need to change in Killer Bean as if I'm the one that made it. Let me make this clear. I don't make Killer Bean, I'm just here for the ride, baby. Jeff Liu is the mastermind behind the Killer Bean franchise, and he's the one that sat me in the booster seat and buckled my seatbelt and took me for the ride. I don't make these, so please stop sending me emails saying, Charlie, I was expecting this to have more action, why didn't you put more action in it? That wasn't me, alright? I'm not the one doing like fucking mocap for the beans or anything. I'm not the director. I'm just happy to be a part of it, really. I'm not like the fucking HR department for Killer Bean Studios Laboratory Incorporated or anything like that. So please don't take your complaints about it to me if you have complaints. Now, it's important to know this is the first episode of the series he's starting, and the first episode is aiming to set up the lore and the plot, I believe. So it is mainly story heavy, and as well as just general talking and explaining where we are in the Killer Bean extended universe. So there isn't as much action as you would expect after watching Killer Bean forever, but I don't think that's a problem or a bad thing. I mean, shit, maybe we'll see this go in like a Hideo Kojima direction where all of a sudden you have time-traveling mechanical dinosaurs entering into the equation, and then you need like a full-time professional scholar to keep track of what's happening in the narrative, just someone that fucking studies the lore, like a Hideo Kojima game. Who knows, your guess is as good as mine. Again, I'm not part of the actual team making the production, I'm not in the writing room coming up with the story, I'm not there animating the fight scenes. I'm just a fan that liked the show and got lucky enough to be a part of it. So please stop taking all of these like deep, tough questions to me about Killer Bean. Hey Charlie, is Killer Bean religious? Charlie, what does Killer Bean think of the current political climate? Do you think you can make Killer Bean say something about that? Like, I don't fucking know. You're asking the wrong goddamn guy. I'm just sitting here with my dick in my hands playing Kessler in this show, and I'm having a great time doing it. And of course, I'm excited for more Killer Bean. Maybe we'll get to see some, like, real tonal shifts or something. All of a sudden, it takes a mature spin where there's tits, rock and roll, blood and gore flying all over the place, Beans getting split in half, eaten alive, all kinds of crazy shit. Who knows what's in store for this season of Killer Bean. And I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's really fucking cool. And that's about it. Yeah. So yeah. Star Wars used to be one of the most beloved franchises in all of entertainment, but that all changed when the twisted mind of George Lucas was left unsupervised and unchecked by a medical professional, and he was able to army crawl himself away from Arkham Asylum and onto a chair in front of a pen and paper and write the prequels. Now let me just get this on the table right now. I know episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars are objectively awful movies from pretty much any perspective you can spin on them, but tell that to my penis that still gets hard with a nostalgia boner every time I rewatch one or see one on TV. There's something special about the charm of those movies, and it's probably just how old I was when I saw them that it still holds a special place in my heart, but they are shitty movies, and that is where Star Wars goodwill kind of died. And you know the story from there. Disney digs up the grave of Star Wars and Mickey Mouse forces it to dance like a twisted puppeteer. They got off to a good start with Force Awakens. I thought that was pretty solid, but everything from there has just been an absolute asshole fire. Just pure, putrid, awful abominations from Disney Star Wars movies. But Star Wars has been dead long before Disney started fucking it, so what Disney's doing to Star Wars is just necrophilia. What I want to focus on today, though, is the story about Jake Lloyd, the child actor who portrayed Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This is a very interesting story about how George Lucas not only ruined a beloved franchise, but ruined a 10-year-old's entire life. Jake Lloyd was dealt a bad hand as a result of that movie. A little background on Mr. Lloyd. His parents were in the entertainment industry, so they knew their way around the field, and he wanted to get into it, so he landed some small roles in television shows and a few movies. Had a big breakthrough with Jingle All the Way with Arnold, which is a Christmas classic, and then his big breakthrough should have been Anakin Skywalker in Phantom Menace. That kind of role with that kind of power with Star Wars coming back with the prequel was absolutely fucking massive and should have catapulted his career, but all it did was catapult him into depression. The movie was a stinker. You all know the story. No one really liked The Phantom Menace, even at the time. It's not something people look back on and now shit on. Even at the time, people were actively dropping trousers and putting a fat asshole on the movie, calling it bad. And most of the blame was shouldered by Jake Lloyd's character, thus Jake Lloyd himself. So as a 10-year-old kid, that's how old he was when he played Anakin Skywalker, he had neckbeard greaseballs attacking him on all fronts of the internet because they blamed him for ruining Star Wars. Instead of the blame falling on the rightful shoulders, which should have been George Lucas or Jar Jar Binks, who Jar Jar did catch a lot of shit, obviously, but for some reason it was almost all targeted at Jake Lloyd's character and his portrayal of the character. This is a thing I've talked about in recent times. People seem to blame the actors when the character is bad or if the acting is shitty, but that is 100% on the shoulders of both the writer and the director. The writers write these characters, so if they're a shitty written character, that's not the actor's fault. They're working with the 9th graders' homework that they were given for their script. If the character's acting is bad, that's the director's fault because they weren't leading them properly. It's not like the acting just became bad as a result of the editing or what happened. If the acting is shitty, it's because it was shitty when it was filmed, which means the director should have done another take until they got it right. I don't think that kind of blame should ever fall on the actor for their portrayal of a character, but that's exactly what happened here to a 10-year-old. And Jake Lloyd himself said not only was getting shit on by these adults on the internet a contributing factor to his depression and a lot of the bad shit he went through, the children at school would bully him for being Anakin Skywalker, which is fucking baffling to me.
Part of my life for the last 10 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it something
High
like
school is... they wouldn't let it go, so...
It's just such a weird thing to insult someone for. Oh, what a fucking loser. You were in one of the biggest movies of all time as the lead character. What a dweeb. You'll never be successful like that. I'm gonna go back to eating glue and huffing Sharpie fumes like a real alpha 5th grader. It's just a weird target for bullying and really unfortunate for Jake. Because that's something that even if the movie was bad, you should still be very proud of. I know I certainly would be. Like, if I had a lead role in The Room or an equally acclaimed awful fucking movie, I wouldn't let people forget I was in that shit. I love that kind of shit. I fucking brag about being in a voice acting role for a cameo character in a game that sold 8 copies on Steam. You wouldn't want to see me as a lead role in fucking Star Wars or something like that. It's just a shame what happened to Jake there, both from adults and in his school environment. Also, George Lucas had him working like a fucking sweatshop worker. Jake Lloyd said he was doing up to 60 interviews a day for Star Wars, which is just an unbelievable number. I can't even believe that shit. I don't know who could even stand that as an adult, let alone a 10-year-old kid. But even still, I understand Star Wars fans aren't the most intellectually enlightened. They're no Rick and Morty fans when it comes to intelligence, IQ, and that kind of supreme being intellect, but I don't know why they'd still blame the child instead of a more obvious blemish on Star Wars, Jar Jar Binks, who did shoulder a lot of shit, but not near to the extent that Jake Lloyd's character did. I mean, Jar Jar Binks, for God's sakes, his whole contribution to the movie was always, Misa make white pee-pee when Misa see you, Natalie Portman. Like, how can that not be the most glaring issue of the fucking prequels? I don't know how it'd be on Anakin Skywalker, who's just playing a fucking kid who likes pod racing and has a midichlorian count in the 9 figures. It's just a stupid fucking fans targeting the wrong fantasy characters if they really want to get into this, like, limp-dicked fantasy where these characters are real and the movie is ruined because of these characters and not George Lucas's batshit awful writing. But, so, moving on from there, Jake Lloyd quits acting at the age of 15. He develops a phobia of cameras because of all the bullying and the ridicule in the interviews, and he no longer ever wants to be filmed. He still does some voice acting for Anakin in the Star Wars video games that come out for the next couple of years, but altogether quits that around 2005, 2006, I believe. And then from there, it's even more downhill. He did a few appearances at some Comic Cons in 2012 and before, but it was always out of obligation and just wanting a quick little buck to show up. Nothing wrong with that, but he'd always get questions about being Anakin Skywalker, which he very clearly hated. The interviews are really hard to watch. He's very uncomfortable, always dismissive, seems confrontational, as if bringing up Anakin Skywalker is like the Winter Soldier's trigger word, and he just goes into this zone where he hates being associated with that, and that's the saddest thing. I really can't help but feel super bad for Jake. He stops going to Comic Cons and conventions and public appearances in around 2013, and then in 2015 he hits rock bottom where he gets into a physical confrontation with his mother and then engages in a high-speed GTA police pursuit across a few counties with the police. There's footage of it, and it's a pretty fucking wild chase. He loses his tire and runs on the bare rims and then does like this fucking gnarly spin out into a fence. It was wild shit. And then, of course, pod racing jokes were the easy ones to make, so we got Star Wars joked on even for something like that. Unfortunately, Jake Lloyd's entire life revolved around his character of Anakin and the negative connotations surrounding it. Thus, Jake Lloyd was never able to have a normal or enjoyable childhood or teenage years, all because of the ridicule he'd constantly be subjected to for his one role in one big movie that George Lucas really fucked him with. And it's such a sad story because maybe Jake could have been a massive successful actor. Maybe the prequels could have been good in some multiverse out there. There's really no telling. All we know for sure is that Anakin Skywalker ruined Jake Lloyd's life. This is Star Wars Episode 1, the first Skywalker's last acting gig.
I think everyone's going to think it's a great film because it is an amazing film. You saw it last night. It was amazing. And it's really a nice, it's very a nice film.
Now I should mention, after the fact with the high-speed chase and Jake Lloyd's arrest, it's important to talk about why it happened. According to Jake Lloyd's mother, the confrontation was the result of Jake Lloyd blaming her for his life being ruined because she got him the role in Star Wars Episode 1, and he never forgave her for it. Thus, they got into a fight where he pushed and kicked her, and then ran away, got arrested. Jake's mother also reveals that at 19, Jake was diagnosed with schizophrenia. That probably sounds about par for the course for anyone that works with George Lucas and is subjected to 60 fucking interviews a day as a result of working with George Lucas, the goddamn madman. So overall, just a horrible story about a successful breakthrough role leading to the demise of someone's mental health, and just genuinely like their whole life seems to have been ruined as a result of having a big role in that movie. And that's about it. Just wanted to tell the story of how Star Wars has not only been ruined as a franchise, but also ruined some lives along the way as well. That's it. So yeah. I'm finally all caught up on Game of Thrones. I went through the whole show in a little over a week, and I just watched the newest episode, The Battle of Winterfell, and it cemented what I already suspected. Bran is the worst character in the show, and perhaps one of the worst characters I've ever seen in a big show. I'm not critiquing the actor. In fact, I think the actor does a decent job with the character, however stale the character is. At least the actor makes it kind of interesting sometimes. The character is just a lifeless fucking statue of uninteresting everything. He's like a black hole of fun or anything interesting in the show. He's so fucking useless and underutilized, it's insulting to every other character in the show that they have to share the same set as this character sometimes. This isn't me critiquing the actor again. It's just this character does nothing throughout the entirety of the show. In the beginning, for the first 5 seasons, they hype him up as, alluding to him being a very powerful presence in the show and perhaps even the difference maker in the war to come. He starts seeing these visions, he sees the past, he's got all of these potential things. He can take control of Hodor and fight. Those were really cool elements of the character that were sparsely utilized, but when they were, it was a treat. And then it keeps going, and then you see this is never going to play any role in the show at all, and it doesn't. Bran does nothing, absolutely nothing. He's a perpetual damsel in distress, and this cool power he has, being able to see everything, The only thing he uses it for is to give some one-liners every now and then to make a character feel bad. You know, like he'll say something to Jaime Lannister, the things I do for love, and then, you know, that's it, just to make Jaime feel like a dickhead. It's so dumb. It's a cool power on paper, but in this show, there's nothing it can be used for. Bran has done two things of note throughout the entirety of the show, of his own power, which is give Jon Snow his true background, what he actually is, and be bait for the Night King in the newest episode. That's all he's ever done directly. It's so fucking sad. It's so dumb. The second worst character is Rickon. Rickon's far more useless, I'd argue, and I think it's objectively a true statement, because if you look at the script for the whole show, like if you had every line from every character throughout the entirety of the 8 seasons, you would see Rickon had maybe 5 lines until he got killed by Ramsay. And it's so dumb because they hyped up Rickon in the first season as having the same power, like seeing Ned Stark in the crypt, you know? They hint at him having the same power that Bran does, and then he doesn't do anything. It's like they stole his fucking vocal cords away, and then sometimes they remembered that the kid was on the set, so they threw him in a scene every now and then in the background until they killed him. It's so depressing. I feel like the creator, George, you know, big boy George, you know, big cock, big wiener George, he had a good vision for Bran and Rickon, but, you know, when he forgot how to write books and the show kept going, the creators didn't know what to do with them. The showrunners had no idea what to do with Bran and Stark, so they never had a purpose. They killed off Rickon, but they had to do something with Bran. But they never figured out what to do with Bran except make him bait. That's his biggest purpose in the show, to be a useless fucking rock that serves as a fishing line to get the Night King to Winterfell and killed by Arya. Spoiler alert, but I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already seen the episode. So in the newest episode, Bran sits in front of a tree, and then he says to Theon, as the huge battle's raging, you know, he's like, Theon, I'm jacking into the Matrix, I'm going to go into VR and play some Beat Saber. Rolls his eyes in the back of his head, takes control of ravens, and then just flies the ravens to the Night King who's on his dragon, which does fucking nothing, because the Night King, as Bran already said, had marked him, and as according to Bran, has always known exactly where Bran was at any given time, thus the ravens do nothing. I think Bran took control of the ravens just to get like a better fucking view of the fight that was going on. You know, he wanted like a, you know, Zeppelin coverage, a fucking Goodyear blimp to get a good view of all the carnage. And then, you know, the Night King comes and Arya kills him. Bran does nothing. He is totally fucking useless. He serves no purpose. His power does nothing to push the show forward. The only good he ever is something to lure a bad guy to. It's so dumb that you would hype him up, you know, give him all this training with the three-eyed raven, who was a cool character, hint at him being able to affect the past, but he can't really affect the past, even though he kind of did with Hodor by accident. So, I mean, it's kind of in a little gray area there as to what he can even do with his power, but George, like I said, forgot how to write and decided to wipe his ass with the entire series, so we'll never know exactly what he wanted with Bran. But now, I can't imagine he wanted Bran to just be this damsel in distress that does nothing. It's really infuriating. It really is upsetting because I like his power as a concept, and I think it could have been utilized really well in the world. But instead we get this stoic, passive roast master who just uses people's words from the past to give them one little moment of self-reflection, which doesn't even do anything either. It's so shitty. It's really fucking shitty. Also, the newest episode, Battle of Winterfell, you know, the entire first half was damn near unwatchable due to how dark it was. I didn't like that either. Not Bran's fault. Maybe it was Bran's fault. I don't really know. But I was stupid. I just don't like Bran as a character. I can't imagine in the next 3 episodes before the show ends them doing anything noteworthy with the character, making him like some fucking triumphant hero. I thought, when I was watching the show, I got really into the show, I thought Bran would eventually become this incredibly powerful force who was the difference maker throughout all of Westeros. You know, he's fucking dual-wielding Excaliburs on the back of an elephant that lives off eating the flesh of men, and Bran's like controlling fucking dragons with his mind or some crazy shit, or like Charles Xavier style, fucking hacking into the minds of the plebeians throughout the world or something. I expected something big of Bran, but instead his moment of triumph is just being saved because he's useless. That is underwhelming. Bran is a shitty character. He's like the Jar Jar Binks of this world. I use Jar Jar Binks as a comparison because Jar Jar, I subscribe to the theory that Jar Jar could have been the Master Sith Lord, the puppet master. That was a cool theory, and I think the same could have been said for Bran. Bran could have had a really cool role to play in this show, and it doesn't look like it's going to come even close to that. I cannot. If I'm wrong, in the next 3 episodes, Bran does something cool, Bran is useful, I will straight come onto the camera and fucking show my entire asshole Goatsy style. Probably won't do that, but I'd be super surprised if they did anything with this character. It's just underwhelming, and I wanted to vent about it because it makes me sick to my goddamn stomach. This is just horrible writing. Also, they get rid of the biggest threat in all of Westeros in the 3rd episode of Season 8, and there's still 3 more to go, so every other problem they could possibly face is trivial in comparison. The writing on this show has eaten some serious ass the last 3 seasons, and this season it seems like they're really fucking the ass of it. This is just bad. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it very much. There's a lot I liked about Season 8 so far. There is a lot to like, no doubt. I'm not trying to shit on the whole season, but comparatively, when they were following the books, it's not even close. They were significantly better written, a whole lot less plot hole, a whole lot less room for improvement. This is just leaving so much to be desired. But again, I'm getting sidetracked and kind of venting about the whole show. Just wanted to vent about Bran being a useless sack of shit, not taking shots at the actor, and I think that's what a lot of you feral animals that don't like a character need to learn. It's not the actor or actress's fault. It's just bad writing from the creators of the showrunners. It is not the actor's fault. In fact, like I said, I think his performance suits the character well, and he does a decent job with it. That being said, Bran is still a bad character. So yeah. Most of you probably know me as the world-famous professional actor who rose to fame in 2014 with his unforgettable role as the nameless District 8 helper in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 movie. A role so fucking powerful, it basically held the movie together. I was the glue, the foundation of that movie, the toilet Jennifer Lawrence pissed in to achieve her level of success. It was all because of my role, but I'm not here to flex my asshole. No, I'm here to actually talk about voice acting. Most of you probably didn't know that in addition to being a world-renowned actor, I also do some voice acting on the side. I actually dip my dick into the voice acting condom pretty hard, and recently I had a role in a game that came out called Lucius 3. I haven't played the game, and the game looks tastelessly edgy from what I've seen, but I do play a character in there. And some Twitch streamers were playing this game, and they all reacted the same way when they encountered my character. Pure shock and awe. They didn't even know a level of voice acting existed like this. I took that shit to a dimension they didn't even dream was possible. They were all left with their jaw on the floor and a dick in their ass because my voice acting was so fucking beautiful and they couldn't even hold back tears, some of them. So I wanted to go over the Twitch clips from when people were playing the game and got to my character.
It is the T12C3. Where did you get that? You know what? As a reward for bringing me this, I'm going to show you what I'm building here.
Sick.
It's almost hard to believe that that's me voicing that character, isn't it? Night and day. You probably would hear me speaking right now, listen to that, and think there's absolutely no relation between the two at all. That's how talented I am when it comes to voice acting. I become the character. For all intents and purposes, I became that turbo virgin nerd that I played there, and I voiced him accordingly. Now let's take a look at the girl here, Dex Bonus. She looks like she's about to have a fucking heart attack from how beautiful the voice acting is. And I know what she's thinking. You can see it on her face. It says it all right there. She's thinking, that couldn't possibly be. No. How could they have possibly got the Oscar-nominated District 8 extra to voice this character? There's no way the budget for this game was big enough to get him. But, lo and behold, Dex, that actually is me voicing that character.
Seaver.
Off the old fart. You can't even sail correctly. Is that an SGX-72 land camera? Where did you get that? I have the exact same one. It takes only 10 seconds to develop the picture. It's part of my... Hope you had a box of tissues within arm's reach, because there's no doubt tears in your eyes, because I sold the fucking emotion in this character better than Anthony fucking Sullivan sells a Mighty Thirsty. So convincing, so beautiful, can't help but appreciate it. Just look at Cinnamon Toast Ken here. Look at him just take it all in, he's digesting it, he's feeling emotions he didn't even know he was capable of. Oh, hi, it's you. I can't talk right now, busy building here.
Well, I have something to trade for you, alright?
Oh, shoot! You got it! The CX145 microprocessor from the Magna Journey. Where did you get that?
Yes, Gabriel.
Can I have it?
And with that line and that delivery, that's a fucking mic drop on voice actors everywhere. Honestly, you might as well fire your entire cast of voice actors for your next game and or movie. Just hire me to do all the voices. My range is unmatched. I can play female characters, male characters, inanimate objects, whatever you fucking need. This should show you the talent, the raw, pure talent I was blessed with from the Lord for voice acting. It's amazing. None of these people had any idea that the world-famous Hunger Games superstar was voicing that character. They all just thought it was some type of really good voice actor. But hey, I'm not here to brag. I just wanted to show you that my voice acting quite literally changed Twitch and the entire Twitch community forever. You're welcome. See ya.